the shift?
We
Okay.
recording now.
Um, yeah, let's do this.
Do this. Ready, set, go.
Go.
Welcome to Shift Hit the Fan.
Yes. Shift hit the fan. Welcome to another wild ride
Welcome, fan shifties.
with Avra and Elias, where we
Avra.
take on an adventure with the tarot. We've got the
Adventure Tarot.
two of Pentacles as the main.
Juggling some pentacles.
What was that?
So juggling some pentacles.
Juggling your pentacles. um, yeah, don't be showing off your pentacles. This is an unsolicited pentacle shot. Um, this is a guy with a red, what I think of a dunce hat. I don't know. He seems like a performer of some type. um, Wearing red tights, has a pentacle in each hand, one kind of above, one below, and it's in an infinity sign, and the waters are pretty turbulent behind him. Um and yeah, he's wearing a couple different shades of red, all red, and green shoes. And there's not much going on behind him except for there's ships and the water is very wavy. And then the hidden energy is the lovers. And I just found out that some people say that this is the Archangel Michael. Um, but we're just going to go by the imagery here.
He wasn't exactly in the Garden of Eden story. This is very much a Garden of Eden type picture.
Yeah, I agree. But um yeah, so I just heard that and it stuck with me, and um I don't see it either now that I'm looking at it. And so a naked man and a woman, feminine and masculine. The masculine has fall leaves behind him, it looks like, and the feminine has a full-on bush, even though she doesn't have a bush herself. Um, she's got apples on her tree, a serpent on that tree with its head next to her ear. She's looking up at the angel or the divine being up there. And that being has like a sun behind him. Um, what else? There's a pointy red mountain behind him, not defined. It's just like this pile of mountain that points up right into the middle of. Ooh, it reminds me of breastises. If you have uh if you had like a corset on or something like that, and the way that a woman's breasts would kind of hang over them, with the blue background. I don't know. I our friend and I were talking about breastfeeding, and she told me to fall asleep with thinking about breasts. So I probably that's where that comes from.
Nice. I kind of have an interesting interpretation of this card now that I've like we've been describing it.
Mhm.
Um, this is Adam and Eve, and Adam has the tree of life next to him, and Eve has the tree of knowledge.
Mm,
And then so they're kind of in the garden, but then that desert is like them going out into the desert, the world, the harsh world and its environment, leaving the garden. And in what I was looking at this angel, she looks or it looks to me kind of feminine.
mhm,
And it's almost like Mother Earth welcoming them into life,
mm.
um, taking care of them in the garden, and then welcoming them to this new journey of life that they get to navigate together.
Yeah, I've had hair like that before. Um, I get androgynous, but yeah, I could see the more feminine. Um,
Yeah, I'm not saying that it is feminine, but like looking at it for me, I was like, oh, it's kind of feminine.
yeah, I agree. Flamboyant, if anything.
But I think that ties in really well with our Two of Pentacles here
Mhm,
because we have the Tree of Life, which is that sustainability, that comfort area where life is perfect. You have everything you need. And that Tree of Knowledge is kind of escaping that stability and that leaving behind that perfect life, leaving behind the things that seem to protect us and that provide for us. And so with like this Two of Pentacles that we've got here, um, I we were talking about choices and how you're juggling two pentacles and each choice they're the same regardless. You either have one pentacle or the other pentacle. And again, pentacles representing earth, just this body, this experience that we have in life of navigating where we want to go. And a lot of times we want that good or evil choice. We try to make things, oh, this is a good choice. Oh, that was a bad choice or whatever. But when a lot of times we're just making decisions. We're just making decisions with the best of what we have. And it's really just a matter of what are we going to do with those decisions? Do I take this job or not? Does it matter? What does my gut tell me? What does my intuition tell me to do? Just follow that. And then little by little, you navigate, you explore that knowledge by escaping like by leaving the stability behind, you start to gain that knowledge and partake of that fruit that teaches you what life is like, the dynamics of life, what we enjoy and what we don't enjoy. And, and a lot of times that good or bad, that enjoyment or that suffering is a lot of times is a lot is just comes down to opinion and an opinion about sensation that we're receiving into our body. And that's what I play with a lot with the stick work I do is can I bring someone to that point to where they're questioning their own pain, their own suffering, and saying, does this really hurt? Am I really suffering here? Or am I just conditioned to make this something that I am suffering from? And that kind of goes beyond the point of what we're talking about here. But I think just regardless, we get to navigate those experiences for ourselves of is this something that I want to pursue or is this not? And we just make a decision and keep experiencing and keep following the light that is guiding us and hopefully pursuing that tree of knowledge, that experience of having a body, of having this life that we live in.
I don't think
So
it's beyond that, the point that we're making. I think it's like what we were talking about before I remembered to start recording. Um, and about the pentacles being, in this case, like the front of the coin and the back of the coin. And, I thought of also the way that you said there, it's the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. Well, I feel like that's, what every time we make a choice, we have what we know about it and then how to live what we know about it. So it's that discernment that I was talking about before we recorded. With every choice that we make, you have more choices because every subject is two subjects. So you make a choice, and that now becomes two subjects. Becomes the idea of what you have and the knowledge. I mean the idea and knowledge, and then the execution of that thing, and trying to balance what we know, not trying to control things, not trying to um you know manipulate, micromanage, and all this stuff, and finding the balance within that one subject of of the of the idea and then the reality of it. And I think that's, where you were going, was that part of the discernment of where it is for you, where it lives for you. It's like you're just giving an example of what it looks like in real life to to make a choice and then go into the world of that choice, learning to infinitely um, live in the experience and the idea of that thing that you want to, live, and deciding whether or not you want to continue living in that because you've experienced it. The constant discerning. I think that's, like what I said, I think that's what's going on with me. And now realizing, because I'm doing Alchemy 101 again, season 3, and having the assignment to look at destructive habits for myself. Where am I doing certain things that um, that are self-sabotaging and destructive? So I'm looking at where I'm trying to be in control versus where I'm being controlling. So for me, it's those are the two pentacles that I'm holding, trying to discern which is hurting me, which I'm feeling the impact of now, of trying to let go of the reins that I've been trying to grab onto for the past decade, trying to drive this avatar. But then now I'm having to look at, now that I'm driving this avatar again, that I feel real, now that I'm now that I'm here, where am I still, where can I still let go of the reins and not be in control? And I'm feeling the impact of what um what I've done internally to my body, where where I've been able to like release that the control and let it do its own thing, what it wants to do naturally, and communicate, and feeling and hearing the communication of where, what I've done, um, where I've held certain things, certain pain and all that stuff. For me, like I love this process, no matter how painful it is. But that's just one example of I'm now looking at, how do I live my life with that discernment, with this trying to balance being in control, and not be controlling. Yeah, that makes sense. Did I say it all right?
Yeah.
Okay, because
And
I
in
was
the end,
and not being here earlier.
I think in the end, there's so little that we that we can control. That the only thing we can really control is our own decision. And our decision sometimes is a little bit irrelevant because we're still going to experience life. We're still going to experience something in front of us. I mean, some of it is a little bit more relevant. Killing someone would be a little bit more relevant than having to make a decision between two different jobs. And we're just we just get to experience it and go with what's inside of us. And little by little we just make something magical out of all of this. I think that's the beauty of life is and the getting to see people who have made all these different decisions. There's so many times where we feel like, oh, this person made such a terrible decision. We look at the politics and people in government, and we criticize them to no end. But we're not in their position. We're not in there making those judgments. We have no idea what's going on in their daily lives and the decisions that they have to make and the information that they're given. And can we trust people that to just say, yeah, you're making the best decision that you know how with what you have and with what you are given? Can we do that with our boss? Can we do that with whoever it is? And I think our how we view our situation will determine more than the decisions that we're making. And so can we step into our own perspective, our own view, and just step back and say, do I really enjoy this perspective, this view? Is this something that I really want to keep perpetuating? Or do I want to change that? And I think that's the beauty behind our reality is that our reality, or for me, how I define reality is what we are bringing into this life, the things that are in our mind that we're choosing to see, and what we're bringing into truth, into existence. And can we change that? Can we bend our reality to see something different, to see somebody else's side, somebody else's perspective, and move and flow and grow with that? And then that changes our decisions more than the actual decision itself does.
Now that you've hooked me with this, whether or not you've killed someone, also
We have secrets coming out now,
there's also
by
the
the
act
way.
of if you did say you did make that choice in the moment, regardless of what led you to that moment, what are you going to make it mean about you? Because you also have a choice there. Are you going to make it mean I'm a murderer or I did this thing, and I don't have to continue in this. And now I know I'm capable of it, which is being really honest with yourself. We're all capable of it. It just takes whatever it takes. There we all have our thing that's going to push us over into that reality, which is the the thought of it versus what's made manifest, right? What the tree of life and the tree of knowledge, right? The um do we want to keep feeding that idea of I'm a murderer or I just did something very human that every human is capable of, and and just leave it at that, not build, not feed it, but accept it, and then just continue on being and developing that person that you do want to be. I mean, if you do want to continue in that path, I mean that's something else. And you might need help, but that's also a choice you've got to make. You've got to deal with the reality of that, that it is a choice, that even if it feels like you can't help it and it's overwhelming, because it does have a massive impact on the being, on the soul. It does violence to the soul, to the body, and it's really hard to make those discernments. But if we can learn to be more accepting and knowing that everybody's capable of everything, and learning to have that grace, just having that knowledge that we're all capable of it, um, I think, could help in that, because I think that's what a big part of what people go through with PTSD and being in, the military, whatever it is that changes people, because they're now forced to be in these situations. And they've convinced themselves that it's for a noble cause, that it's for the greater good or whatever. They still have to deal with the impact that it has on the body, and we aren't tending to that. We aren't letting ourselves like um know how human it is, and that if we were, if we knew any better in that moment, we wouldn't have made those same choices. We make the choices based on the information that we have at hand and our understanding in that moment. But we're all redeemable. Um, we're all capable of everything, and we're all redeemable. And if we can remember that thing, that again is what we know versus what we can execute and live and make our reality about ourselves.
Having this conversation is way more enjoyable than the conversations I was having with a mutual friend in Kaizen. Um, because I was trying to say similar things and I was getting attacked for it. But I think this goes to say, like, this goes with anything that we experience in life: drugs, alcohol, sex, divorce, all these different things that we can be so down upon ourselves for. We look at ourselves as these terrible human beings for doing these different things. Um, and we forget that we are still a child on the inside, that we're still learning, still growing, and we don't have to choose to be defined by the things of our past. We're defined by them only by experience. Cool, I experienced this thing. I don't have to be that same person. I don't have to hold on to the same personality. I don't have to hold that label upon myself. And other people might want to do that for us. And that goes to say, like, we don't have to hold those labels for anybody else. We don't have to say that someone's a murderer because they killed someone, way back when, or that they're a drug addict because they used to do drugs. Holding someone to that label does not help them get out of it, does not help them choose a different path. Holding ourselves to those labels does not help us get past them. You know, going to 12-step recovery things and saying, I'm an addict, and I'll always be an addict, doesn't help anybody actually overcome being an addict. It makes them be a little bit more introspective and say, wow, I've got this issue and I got to deal with this issue. That can be helpful. But at the same time, it doesn't help us move past just our true and look at our really true essence of who we are, what our self is. We are just a human being navigating life, and that much of the things that are happening inside our lives is just a conditioned pattern that we've found to have worked for us. Whether that's drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, all these different things that we have that we use as coping mechanisms, even social media and books even can be a coping mechanism just to help us disappear and distract. Um, those are those only limit us as far as we allow them to. And the more we can feel into life and come more alive and feel the sensations in our body and just start to recognize who we are at our center, the more power we get to have. And it's almost like we become less of something, and then by doing so we become more. Less definition allows us to expand to greater horizons.
I think um I think Brian's done.
Brain dead. And cut. So, anyways, all that to say that we have choices, and sometimes the choice is just choosing ourself, choosing to care for ourselves, and choosing to just just choose. It doesn't matter our choice. Change your perspective, and that's a choice. Change your perspective. Change the way you're looking at things. Question the label that you have about yourself or about life or about somebody else, and just experience life. Because life experience is not through definitions. Definitions is just communication. It's how we can interact with each other. But that doesn't help us actually experience life. And our experience comes through the sensations in our bodies, through this earthly experience that we're going through. So make a choice. Go with it. Love it. Change your perspective. Find new perspectives. Love life. The end.
No, you're capable of all of it. Just have grace. That's funny. Brian's like, I gave you one good thought. That's it. You're done. uh, so perfect for all the conversations I think that we're having individually with other people.
Oh yeah.
We gotta send this to everybody. Look, here's what we were talking about.
There we go.
This is what I mean. Brian had one good thought. Brian. And then we went off of that. Um, yeah. All right.
All right, shifties. We love you. Go shift this world into something amazing.
Explore your humanity, love your humanity, and know that you always have a choice. The
You're
end.
amazing.
Yeah, you are. You're the best. That's it.
That's it.
Let the shift hit the fan. Let the shift hit the fan.